Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. Sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Sarah, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working in her own practice on a part-time basis, as she is also a part-time stay-at-home mom. Her practice focuses on wellness services, including hormone replacement therapy, weight loss, and some functional medicine. She's needing assistance narrowing down her service offerings and looking for some direction on where she should go next in her business. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Justin. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for hopping on here. So tell us about yourself. So you're a family nurse practitioner and you started your own practice. So tell us a little bit more about, how you got started and maybe what you were doing before.
Sure. So I've been a nurse, or I was a nurse for 10 years, decided to go ahead and get my FNP. I was working out in California as a nurse, getting paid very well. Came back to the East Coast and was like, yeah, it's time to finish up that nurse practitioner degree. So I got graduated about a year ago, and I've been working in primary care ever since. So that was 1 year in primary care. I was lucky enough to get a job at an NP-owned family practice, mostly working with pediatrics, probably like 70% pediatrics, 30% adult population.
Okay.
And so just in January, the owner emailed out of nowhere and said that the clinic was closing effective tomorrow. So I had to swerve. I loved my job. I got a lot of good background there. But owning a wellness practice was my 5-year goal, but it became my next month goal. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. So how long have you been open for then?
1 month.
1 month. Okay. So this is brand new, basically. So
Brand spanking new.
brand spanking new. Okay. So I heard you say that you were lucky enough to find a job. So your area
Yes.
is fairly saturated, I'm assuming then?
It is saturated. And as a new grad and needing part-time, that was a specific challenge.
Sure.
But luckily I reached out directly to the owner. She liked what I had to say and got me in there. And I really do, despite how it ended, like I appreciate so much about that experience. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, so you started your practice. So how is it going? I mean, you've only been open for a month, so I'm assuming it's probably somewhat slow at this point, or?
it is not, Justin,
Okay.
because the clinic closed and all my patients wanted to follow me. So I have like 65 patients. And I was doing weight loss out of primary care, and it kind of became my baby there. I didn't even think about not really how I could do it in my own setting. And those patients did so well. I was already doing compounding meds with them, so we could kind of switch it up. And luckily my manager there kind of let me run with it. So they were all like, hey, where are you going? And I was like, I don't know. But then a naturopathic doctor who I saw her daughter at the practice, she offered me the office space for $250 a month. And I was just like, mm, I guess I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So this business closed.
Mhm.
And well, I guess my first question is why did they close?
And that's a little bit like the answers are vague to this day, but she basically said that she wasn't getting reimbursed by insurance in time to make payroll. And she was like, I've always said that if I wasn't going to make payroll, then that was it. But the strange thing is, we were completely booked. I was seeing like 20 to 30 patients a day. And we were booked out like for months. And she had just hired a new NP, just put in new floors, just expanded. So it just doesn't add up. Um, but that's the answer that we were given. And she thinks it's because the clinic was medical freedom of choice, meaning that we didn't force parents to stick to the CDC schedule. They could do alternative vaccine schedule if they chose. So she thinks, some sort of conspiracy, but I didn't even know. I was just like, I need to go and provide for my family. I'm moving on.
Correct. This is no, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be,
Yeah.
yeah, dragged out in your conspiracies and paranoia. Come on.
No,
Yeah.
no, ma'am. No. I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't think you're great at business, and we'll leave it at that.
Right. Listen, I hear people say this are struggling with payroll. I understand if we're going through a recession,
Right.
times are tough. Like I get that. But in a normal operating environment like right now, really, um,
Yeah.
I don't
Something.
understand how that, yeah, I don't see how that's possible. Like you should be a smart business owner sees money coming in and then sees the opportunity or the need for someone else. And they determine, okay, this is what I can afford. This shouldn't be a problem. Like I don't,
Right.
yeah, you're right. It's just bad business. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
That's what I feel like the,
Sure.
end
Sure.
all be all was.
Sure, sure, sure. Um, okay, so you were able to take 65 patients. Was there not any opportunity to take more, or did everyone basically need to use their insurance?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure you're gonna tell me that I need to just get over this, but I feel a little bit awkward about being like, I'm here, come pay me cash when they were, insurance based. So I was a little bit more, and also like I didn't want to go like all the way in, couldn't like can't keep up because it is just me. So I was a little more selective, and I also really wanted to focus more on the weight loss and wellness. I love pediatrics, but it feels like there could be more liability. I had to figure out vaccines in my process and all of that. So basically, the previous owner like shouted me out on her Facebook page, and I had a influx of the pediatric patients, and then I just told each weight loss patient I was working with. And then I've had a few referrals since, and a few people who found me on Google. But also, I was working 35, 40 miles from my house at that clinic, and there were people coming from the state over, so even further out. So I'm a little further out for some of the patients that I was seeing
So
in the practice.
I got you. So is your area okay? So you said it was somewhat saturated with NPs. Is it saturated with wellness, weight
I would
loss?
say I would say no. So
Okay.
there's probably so we're in a huge area. It's like DMV, in the county, there's like 300,000, and it's just growing all the time. So, and people are getting more and more like, wellness conscious. So there's one, practice that's functional medicine, primary care, that's not too far. And then there's another that's primarily weight loss. So my like what makes me different is that I do have the pediatric functional medicine. I mentioned the thyroid optimization thanks to your course. I'm like confident in that now.
Yep.
And then the fact I do weight loss, I think I have my own spin on it. So I feel like that's why I'm getting like a specific demographic of people.
I got you. So the percentage of each service for each patient, what would you estimate? Like how many are weight loss, how many are pediatric functional medicine, et cetera?
So right now it's about 50-50. I'd say weight loss slash wellness. And honestly, like I don't want to become primary care, and I can feel it happening sometimes because these people did see me for primary care. So I also need to navigate that. So yeah, but I'd say it's 50-50. And then the naturopathic who owns the building that I'm in, NDs cannot prescribe. I'm in Maryland. They can't prescribe. So she's referring me all her thyroid patients because she can't prescribe. So that's why I was like, oh, let me take this course so I can, feel more confident there.
Gotcha. Okay. So how much are you making functional medicine versus the weight loss? Like, what's really the big hitters here?
Sure. So the way I have it priced is initial visits across the board are $200. I'm still messing with pricing. I know it's not going to stay this way. I know you've like said that's normal, thank God, but I am doing 350 a month for the weight loss subscription. Where I've messed up is like the people that I took from my primary care. Like now they're like months in, they're doing well. So I'm like, hey, you'll pay me per visit because you're like well into your journey. I could go back and say, to make my business successful, I need to get you on my subscription. I don't know what you think about that. Um, like people that I brought over from primary care, they're still paying me for the visit, but it's not subscription based.
Well, okay, so my opinion about subscription-based stuff is that, you got two models here. You got like the DPC model,
Hmm.
and then you have more of just like a standard wellness subscription-based model that, I kind of came up with in the courses and, on Elite NP and what some other wellness clinics do. So those are kind of the two models for subscription kind of based payment in, in a cash-based practice.
Hmm.
So with the DPC model, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's a lot less of a rate. And with that, it's basically visits, right? The product
Right.
is the visit, the
Hmm.
service, right? Um, and it's like, one visit a month or,
Hmm.
two sick visits a month or, whatever it is that you want to structure it as. All right.
Hmm.
And it's cheaper,
Hmm.
$70 a month, $50 a month, $90 a month, whatever is justifiable for your area.
Hmm.
And then a wellness model though, usually you have to include something in it
Hmm.
to make it worthwhile for people. And so weight loss, for example, would be $300 a month, and that would include semaglutide up to whatever dose, or $500 a month for tirzepatide up to 10 milligrams,
Hmm.
things like that. You have to include kind of more or less the service and the medication product inside of it as well. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yes, yes. And I do want to go towards the wellness. I think like
Okay.
since I brought them over, it's a strange transition because I was trying to get them used to the idea of cash pay, which they all said they were willing to do. But then I don't want to be like, oh, it's actually going to be this and you're committed necessarily. So I just don't know. Do you think I should leave it the way it is for them and move forward with everyone coming in? Um,
Well,
I-
ask. Just ask them.
okay.
Just ask them. You know,
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking. What are your
Right.
thoughts on it? And
Yeah.
if there are some people who are just like, I can't do that or whatever, fine. You make some exceptions for the established people because you're in the startup phase. Like even though you've
Right.
been open for a month and you have 65 patients, and you're probably doing pretty well as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what have you made in the last month? Like $6,000, $7,000?
Yeah, like 6 grand so
Six
far. Yeah.
grand for 1 month. That's pretty good,
Better than it was in primary care for seeing 30 patients a day. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, So like as far as I'm concerned, you've been open for 1 month. So you're definitely in top 10% here in terms of startups go, because that's really good for 1 month. But to get back to your question, just
Hmm.
ask them, okay?
Okay.
And if you have some people who are just, they don't want to, fine, make some exceptions here or there.
Right.
But overall, create that as the new model and new
Right.
patients. That's what it is. And then try to get as many established patients onto that as well. Because if you wait as you get busier, it's going to be more of a
Yeah.
pain in the ass,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good to know. And I am doing like mostly tirzepatide because I like it better from my experience with patients. Like they do better. I mean, everybody's individual, but my tirzepatide price is 350 because I actually start. I have a lot of women, and stop me if it's too much, but I have a lot of women who like they're in Orange Theory, they're in these burn boot camps, and they are like doing all the things, but they hold on to the weight. So they don't have like a ton of weight to lose, but they're just like, like they need that adjunct therapy. So I like microdose them sometimes, like 1.25 or, 12.5, 1.25 milligrams. And
Right. So very low dose. Is it,
yeah,
are you
and
finding
it
it
works.
effective? No
Yes,
shit.
it Justin, it's freaking amazing. Like it's like and so then they have virtually no side effects. And then I like tell them, just work with them on the nutrition and fitness side of it because some of them are just burning the candle at both ends and then their thyroid's all jacked up. And so it's just that 1.25 is enough for some people. But that's where that pricing, I'm like, okay, 350 is fantastic for somebody who's on the 1.25.
Sure.
But then I guess I'll just adjust it as they increase or
I would.
um
I
yeah,
would. Now,
okay.
I'm going to pick your brain here because you're the first one I've heard who's like microdosing this.
Microdosing, yep.
Yeah, I mean, most people get up to 10 or 15 milligrams, and it's so damn expensive at those high doses.
Right, right, right.
And so I guess my question is that have you so this microdose, are these
Mhm.
people who are somewhat active and stuff like they
Yes.
just need a little bit of a boost?
Yes, and so that's my demographic right there. Like I have a co-owner of a burn boot camp who comes to me. Like all these women, like they're, going to I mean this might be regional. I work out in my garage. I don't even know. But
Sure.
it's like burn boot camp, soldier fit, and these people that are doing the work, like they're conscientious. They've been to nutritionists and they just their weight won't budge. So it's enough to just like get them going in the right direction. And then they might need to do 1.25 twice a week. We might go up to a 2.5 with like a 1.25 bump. Like we just play
Interesting.
around with it. Yeah, but
Interesting.
but it mitigates. My thing is like I'm functional medicine, that's my baby. So it kind of like it's counterintuitive that I'm like take this injection. So that's how I just explain it. Like it's an adjunct. We'll work on everything else. We're going to empower you. This isn't just a med, it's you, but this is your little bump that helps,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So probably, the average weight loss patient, who's somewhat sedentary and kind of just wants a
Right.
quick kind of wants the quick fix.
Yes, yes.
This microdose probably would do nothing for that person.
Most likely nothing, or like the first
Right.
couple weeks they might, have like
Build
a little bit of inflammatory weight come off, but then probably nothing, yeah.
probably not much. Yeah. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, it would be interesting it'd be interesting to experiment a little bit with that to see, is
Yeah.
are the higher doses just completely unnecessary? Can you get away with a smaller dose and it be, mostly just as effective? That would be an interesting study to do or just a little
Yeah.
experiment. So, yeah.
And
Um,
that's yeah, kind of what I'm trying to play around with. And it's been working. I have people who've gone up that microdose gone up to 5 and then came back down and now they're maintenance and they haven't gained. So, um it's working. It's just I think it depends on the person. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so just make sure that whatever subscription-based model that you make, you got to be making those profits, right? You got to make sure the profit
Yes.
margins are there. You have to, because if you don't, it just doesn't make sense. You're giving away care for free, which you
Right.
which you never want to do.
No.
Yeah. So any other questions in terms of pricing, subscription-based kind of thing?
I think that gets me started there. It's just the fact that, like, so even my wellness patients, you're saying I could get them. When I'm saying wellness, there's people that are like, yes, I like functional medicine, but I want you to be my primary care. So is that something that's subscription based, or should I keep them appointment? You know what I mean? And even like my peds patients, I don't want them to have to be subscription. Um, in part because I'm only part-time. Like if I were like full-time open, this is boutique pediatrics, then I could justify it. But I kind of want them to stay appointment, be for appointment. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this probably isn't going to be really your focus as you start growing. Like it
Okay.
really sounds like your focus is going to be maybe probably this weight loss. That's
I
probably
hope
what's
so.
yeah, that's probably what's going to bring in the most money. I mean,
Okay.
this weight loss fad, I think it's going to be a fad that's going to last a long time. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
So you can make a lot of money doing this right now. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I had a podcast just a week or two ago that the nurse practitioner is just, I mean, killing it. hundred thousand
Love it.
dollars a month. Just
Love it.
yeah. I mean, I know some millionaire nurse practitioners out there who become millionaires off of weight loss. It's crazy.
It's
Okay.
mind blowing.
It's
Yeah.
mind blowing. Okay. So, as far as I'm concerned, milk it for as long as you possibly can. Um,
All right.
yeah. So, if that's going to be your focus,
Mhm.
then, these primary care patients and stuff, just charge them when they come and, they come.
Okay.
Like, this is not going to be your bread and butter. This is not what's going to, take this to the moon, basically. All right. It's just a little side thing. You're making some extra money. You're doing people a favor kind of a thing.
Okay. That's how it felt, and I wanted to keep it that way, but I didn't know if I would start to like, if that wouldn't work. But
No,
that
I
makes me
think
feel better about it.
yeah, I think it would work just fine. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would really,
Awesome.
really double down on this weight loss. I would really double down on these referral sources that you're getting here.
Yes. Yes.
That is
Yeah.
where I would be heavily focused on. I would try to get in more regional, statewide,
Mhm.
multi-state kind of thing and see if you could be the go-to provider for some of these people.
Yes.
Like, imagine if you were the go-to provider for, a state's CrossFit organization or something. You know how many patients
Uh,
you get? A
yeah.
lot.
Yes, and I just had a guy come in, I mean, no HIPAA, but he's a business owner, huge into CrossFit. And it's just funny because they just found me on Google. I'm almost like, how how did you find me? You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I just started, but obviously there's the need, right? Because if it
Well, if people are finding you, that just means that there's not a whole lot of competition. And
right.
so you're right. So you need to double down on this because there probably will be competition in time. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you become the established provider, and by God, you need to have a public perception of excellence. You need to
Right.
establish that as soon as you possibly can. So which you need to be getting as many reviews as you possibly can,
Mhm.
testimonials, etc. One of your little business marketing goals right here should be your Google business listing should have 100 5-star reviews in the next 6 months. Okay.
Okay.
Like, that's what you want. You want to be, it's just like you going out of town and going to a restaurant. You're on Google,
Yes.
you're on your phone. Are you going to the 3.7 or are you going to the 4.9 restaurant with the 500 reviews? It's a no
Right.
brainer, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's
Patience,
how I operate.
exactly. Yeah. It's the same thing with clinics. Okay. So really, really focusing on that. Um, but yeah, I would think very, very heavily here on referral sources. Maybe you could get away with not having to spend that much money marketing, um,
Right.
if you can get some real solid referral sources. And the thing that's beautiful about it is that you could use these referral sources for years, and let's just say one or two fall off for some reason, but you've gotten so many patients from it that there's going to be just a word of mouth snowball. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would be doing.
Thank you. That actually answers one of my other questions because I like read some of your articles about marketing and I've listened, and it actually made me feel like I wasn't doing not no, it was fabulous advice, but I was like, "Oh, is there something like I was trying to do something that maybe didn't fit with like what I need, you know? So like boots to ground marketing should and like could work for me here. And like even
Sure.
Friday, my buddy owns a gym in the area, he just expanded, and I was like, I'm coming in Friday. I'm going to tell you about what I do, give you some cards, Like I love, like in college, I was a spin instructor. I worked in the gym. I was like that's like, I feel very comfortable there. So I would be excited to go and be like, oh, let me do a class with you guys and then tell you what I do.
Sure.
But if that, what I'm, so is that time worth it? You think it would be worth it?
100%.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean,
That would be fun.
I know some NPs out there um, who have done very, very well and have not spent much at all marketing. It is all
Okay.
just word of mouth, getting out there and getting the word out to the people that need to
Right.
hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
yeah, like your demographic. Where are they? It sounds like they're
For
with
boot camp.
these. Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They sound like they're with these boot camps. They're at gyms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make that your focus. The riches are in the niches here. Like, make that your focus.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And offer pediatric functional medicine. Sure, why not? I mean, it's a needed service. It's in high demand.
Yeah.
People are willing to pay cash for it. Like, sure, why not? It's a no brainer
Right.
not to. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like primary care, eh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You can get in the weeds with it too.
yeah.
So I love just the streamline of weight loss. Like, I mean, obviously that first visit, here's what I've also run into. I've had a lot of first visits with like the new people coming in, which are longer. Um, and it's just me and all the admin stuff. And I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? Because I have so much busy work and then I have these like full hour long appointments. So I just hired a virtual assistant. I wanted to ask you about that. Um, what your thoughts are
On having
on
a
that.
virtual assistant?
Yeah, yeah. It's like a flat monthly $69 a month, and then it's 180 per minute that they are, so they handle maybe inquiries like people calling, or you can give them like very specific admin tasks. And it's month to month, so I can cancel anytime. But that was kind of my thought as far as
One
freeing them.
180 a minute, $1.80 a minute?
Oh yeah, yeah, a dollar.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I was gonna say, geez, like, all right.
No, yeah.
Okay, so $1.80 a minute. I mean,
What do you
mm,
think? Could it add up? Is it not a good idea?
well, you figure how much is that hourly? It's coming out to well over $100 an hour.
Yeah, but that's my thing. If I give them very specific, like I'm not getting that many phone calls. It's more like people are booking online, or
You
they're
will.
emailing me. Oh, I will
You're
get more. Okay.
you're going to, okay? Like, I
Okay.
mean, it's
Okay.
it's inevitable. You're going to. Like, as you start getting busier, you start having
Yeah.
hundreds of weight loss patients. They're going to be calling, I'm out of syringes. I need a
Okay.
refill. I need to
Yeah.
schedule lab work. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to get busy. Okay.
Okay.
So
Prepare
if
for that.
yeah, so prepare for it. Exactly. Are you just telemed, or are you mostly telemed, or are you seeing these people in person too?
So I'm 2 days a week in the office that I'm paying the 250 a month for. And then so Monday, Wednesday in office, Friday is my telehealth day. Um, so I'm doing a lot of like the, first visits in person and then reviewing labs or doing
I
follow-ups,
got you. Okay.
telemed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're probably going to outgrow that office fairly quickly. All
That's
right.
what I was thinking, yeah, or
Y-
wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're probably going to outgrow it. So, it's going to be a large investment on your part here, okay, to
Hmm.
move into somewhere that you can grow into, and then to
Right.
also have, someone actually there, like a medical assistant, receptionist, whatever, to like answer phones and stuff.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you could hire a virtual assistant right now, if you wanted to.
Hmm.
That'll like that's fine and dandy, but it's hard to grow, a six-figure monthly practice with virtual assistants.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might fit for what I'm doing right
it's
now, but
gonna
then
fit for now,
mhm.
exactly, but how much they're charging you and stuff. I mean, they're gonna be. I mean, they could break you fast at
Right,
those kinds of rates. I
as
mean,
I grow.
you imagine if they're working a few hours, just a few hours a day for you at a
Yeah.
dollar 80 a minute.
Yeah, I can see. That was my fear too, but I'm like, it right now with the call volume, it wouldn't be, but I see what you're saying, and, like, I shouldn't even, like, base things off of right now because I am growing.
Because you are
Um,
growing, right, right,
right,
exactly. I mean, you need to focus on the processes to get there,
right.
for that growth. But like, yeah, I would be hesitant with it. I would maybe just try to find a virtual assistant on your own that you can kind of hire on more of a part-time basis,
Okay.
or keep doing it yourself for a little while, just slog through it
Yeah,
and keep doing it until it's starting to like really affect like your business and your time. Okay.
right.
You'll know when it's time to hire someone. You're gonna know. It's called pulling your hair out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. Maybe just slog through it for a little while longer, save
Okay.
as save as much money as you possibly can, because there's going to be a time in the next few months, next 3 to 6 months, probably. I mean, you're probably going to be at 100 patients by, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, more than likely.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, I would slog through it, save up some money, because you're going to need to invest that money for the growth that's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months. And I'm talking about getting your own office, hiring maybe one staff member. You're
Mhm.
gonna need some resources, and
Right.
basically, $10,000 to $20,000, preferably. If you had it,
Yeah.
um, for that. My advice is, before you hire an employee, have 2 or 3 months of payroll in the bank.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I will never do anybody as dirty as what
right,
happened to
right, right, right. But this is just
yeah.
this is your business's emergency fund. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
part of
Yes.
that emergency fund is not only your rent, but it's also payroll. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
so if you can get to that amount, maybe, 15, 20,000 bucks for a
Mhm.
part-time receptionist. I mean, you can pay him $20 an hour. So it's going to cost you a couple $1,000s a month. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
that much money. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I would be focusing on right now. Just slog through it and do it yourself for a little while. I mean, I was answering the phones at my practices for, you know, a while. I was doing it all by myself, and it was just,
Yeah.
there was a time I was like, I'm sick of this. So,
Yeah, and I just don't want it to take away from me being present, with people when they're there. Not that I'd be answering phones, but just like even the fact I feel sometimes with how quickly this is all happening, like I'm not a disorganized person, but I can just feel it creeping up just because of all the different directions.
oh yeah,
And then yeah, and I don't ever want to come off that way. And then I have a 4 and 2-year-old at home, so it's like I'm checking stuff on my days home with them, but I really want to be like present, authentic, um, all those things.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a valid fear, a valid anxiety to have. Which is exactly why that you should narrow in these services. Once you narrow down your services,
Right.
then it's going to help you stay organized. But if you're doing all these random things, it's going to drive you bananas. You're going to get
Yeah.
disorganized. You're like, oh shit, where do I order that med from? Because it's cheaper at this compounding pharmacy. And
Yeah.
you're just going to get disheveled. It's going to turn into a mess. So,
Yeah, and that's yeah, exactly. Thank
yeah,
you for
yeah, yeah, for sure.
pointing me.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions with that?
I think that's it with the like needing help or like just planning for that for the future. I so I have like this is a quick question, but what do you feel about family working in that capacity?
Okay, yeah, well, I've hired family a few times in my
Uh-huh.
life for things, and I have no family members working for me now. So, yeah,
Okay. That's funny. That's what my husband said. He was like, "Bad idea. Nope."
yeah,
And I was
you
like,
will. You will hear it from people, from other entrepreneurs and business owners. I mean, I've had mentors that told me never hire family. I was like, oh well, I don't got to worry about that. It's my family. They won't screw me
right.
over.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah, they're gonna walk all over you because your family.
Yeah.
They're more important than any other employee that you might have. And they'll start
Right.
just doing things without asking your permission because it's family. It never
Okay.
works out. Okay. Y-
Okay.
Your spouse, or your child is a different story.
Right.
Um, but a brother, a sister, cousin, things like that, hell no.
Okay. Good. Good
Yeah.
to know. Thank you. That that will make my husband happy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's on the right track with that. So,
All right. Another question I had was, I mean, and this might be like, $100 question, but I feel like it's clunky in my process. Just payment processing. So another reason why I wanted the virtual assistant was to like get the billing information like off the bat, so I don't have to. I've been invoicing people after the visit. Like when they book, and you can tell me if this isn't a good idea. It takes a $50 deposit that goes towards like their visit, because at first I didn't want to be booked up with people who weren't serious about it. Um, so that should now like save their card information and I can just charge their card. But like I have been doing Square invoices, and like sometimes people aren't paying or they aren't paying for like a week, or I just don't know. I feel like I'm awkward with that part of things.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard to give you a straight answer for this because everyone does things a little differently. Everyone's
Right.
minds wire a little bit differently on how to stay organized and to keep track of things and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, in my opinion, it needs to be as centralized as possible into one system as possible. Okay.
Right.
When you're having to, load up this program for that and this program for this and that, and you have multiple tabs open in your browser on your computer.
Yes.
Yeah, it can get complicated and it can get messy. So, in my opinion, use the EMR for as
Okay.
much as you possibly can. And you know, our EMR, like our chart notes for a patient, it's not only just my notes. You look through it, and it's just like patient came in, paid for 3 months of treatment, blah, 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 due for labs, blah, blah, blah. Then, like, it's the medical assistants charting stuff, and it's
Hmm.
all staying track in that EMR. So you click on the patient, and you can go in there, you can just scroll through the notes and be like, okay, this patient paid 3 months, 8 weeks ago, whatever. Okay, they're due for a refill. That's fine. I'll go ahead and order it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So try to
Okay.
keep it all as central as possible. All right. Sure, it's
Okay.
not fancy and all this, but it works. All right.
Yes.
And some people do Excel sheets too. I'm not a big fan of Excel sheets.
No.
Just because it's something else I got to open up.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want
So
any more things to open up. No.
exactly. And payment processors through an EMR are something that I don't recommend because a lot of these payment processors, these merchant accounts, don't like some of the stuff that we're doing. They don't like weight loss. They don't like hormone replacement therapy. They don't like telemedicine. Okay, like
Mhm.
if you're using Square right now, I would highly advise trying to find something else because
Okay.
once they catch wind of probably what you're doing, they're probably going to ban your account. Okay,
Wow. Wow.
yeah, yeah. There's just some payment processors that have some very, very strict rules with what they do. So, so with that said, the payment processor, in my opinion, should be separate from the EMR. Okay, and it
Okay.
should be one considered high risk in parentheses. You know, Payment Depot, Swipe Simple. There are some various payment processors out there that really don't care what you do. We use
Mhm.
Clover at my men's health
Okay.
practice right now. They don't really give a shit. They just said nothing, and it's been years. Okay,
Okay, good to know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So their payment processor should be a separate thing from the EMR, but the EMR and the payment processor should be the only thing you have open, nothing else. Like that should be
Right.
pretty much it. And then obviously there might be the portal for the compounding pharmacy or something that you have to open up, and
Yes.
there's no way around that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if that
Okay.
answers your question or not.
It does, because I have Optomantra and I think I can do Clover, like those 2 will talk. Is you're saying that's okay? Or they have Stripe as well through Optomantra. That's where they were charging the booking deposit, through Stripe. So that's what was confusing. I had Stripe, I had Square, and then it's all going into my business bank account. It was just too much.
Sure. Yeah. I think if you do it like that, I think it should streamline stuff for you.
Okay. The booking deposit, I honestly did that initially because I was responding to all these inquiries. I was like booking people myself and having at least like the deposit. I felt like I was getting paid for that admin time up front. But now I don't feel like I necessarily need to do it. What's your opinion?
So yeah, I mean, as you start getting some more patients coming through the door,
Mhm.
I don't think it's that necessary.
Okay.
If you were 100% telemedicine and people were just booking off of your website all the time, and
Hmm.
you were starting to get a bunch of no shows and stuff, then yes.
Yeah.
But just people calling or even just the random people scheduling an appointment or something like that, I don't see that being much of a problem, especially as you start getting busier.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I would say maybe forego it. It'd be one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah, and I'm, like, taking that into consideration when I'm charging them, like, "Oh, well, you did pay the it's just too much," but,
Right.
I think it was helpful in the beginning, like, I would maybe recommend that to people starting out, like, if you feel like you're doing a lot of admin, it did make me feel good to already have money in my bank account when people were just because some of these pediatric patients are scheduling for their well visit months out, so, it made me feel better at the time, but I don't think that I need to keep doing it.
No, I don't think it's really all that necessary. I mean, if people, someone wants to schedule an appointment with you to lose weight,
Yeah.
they're probably going to show up. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and especially if they do
yeah.
blood work. I think
Right.
the way we mitigate this at my men's health clinic is that we just lab work first before I even see you. I mean,
Mhm,
they call. I'm interested in scheduling an appointment. Great, come in for your lab order. We do labs before
mhm.
your appointment. They show up for the
Yeah,
lab order. Great, here it is. So just put it on paper. It's my signature on it. Here you go. Big whoop de
yeah,
doo.
yeah. I
Yeah,
like that.
and
I
then
like that you
yeah,
do that first. That's a good
exactly.
idea.
And if they don't get their blood work done, well, we're not scheduling an appointment. It's that simple. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like at the appointment, I'm going to go over your blood work. I am not going to see you first, then order labs, and then see you for a follow up to go over the labs. Screw that. That's a waste of my time. Let's just get the
yeah,
blood work done first because I can't do anything without it, anyways.
yes. I like that. I think that would work well for me too, because just like you said, it's like I spend the hour-long appointment with you, and then you go get your lab work, and then I'm on the telehealth it's
Right.
just,
It literally
yeah,
saves you one more step.
perfect. I
Yeah.
will start doing that.
Yeah.
Aw
Yeah. So,
awesome.
any other questions?
I'm so I have an account with Hallandale, and I ended up getting that before, like, I knew about the Elite NP discount. It's only like you only get the discount when you sign up, right? So,
Uh, I believe
or
so.
should
Yeah.
I? Okay, and but Empower, I found through you guys, and I'm going through the process with them. So do you think having two compounding pharmacies is good enough? There's also a local one that has tirzepatide, but they're just like not a big guy. But
I
I mean,
think
I
having yeah, I think having 3 or 4 accounts is a good idea, and
okay.
yeah, and then having a local one, sometimes local pharmacies will really bend over backwards for you. I mean, their customer service typically is gonna be a lot better because they're trying to earn your business for a long time. So, it might be worthwhile to call them up and just give them a shot.
I will because I'll talk to them a little further about like wholesale because they are not wholesale, but they they do discounts for Sema, but not for tirzepatide. So, and I like mostly prescribe tirzepatides. So now that I'm actually like making moves, maybe I could have a better conversation with them
I
because
would.
it'd be nice. People can literally go in and pick it up if they wanted to. So um that could save on shipping and everything. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 3 or 4 accounts. We talked about marketing. Oh, so I don't have an accountant. Is that a thing I need to do now, or should I just be like looking for a good one? I know you have resources.
Do you need one now? I mean, you really don't need one until taxes come in reality,
Right.
you know? Bookkeeping services, on the other hand, uh, that's something that's more or less what the accountant will kind of just do throughout the year.
Right.
Um, do you need to have that now? It really just depends on how much time you're spending doing bookkeeping, getting into QuickBooks or whatever. I mean, if it's all automated and everything's taking off your credit card transactions and your bank accounts, then it's really not that hard to do. But
Right.
yeah, but that's really up to you. Like some people like doing that kind of thing, and some people don't.
Hmm.
So if you don't, I would say just go ahead and hire a bookkeeper. It's probably going to cost you, for a small business like this, for them to put together all your transactions and keep the books all clean, a
Hmm.
$100 a month, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's up to you.
That would definitely, I think, set my mind at ease. I'm not that type of person. I feel like,
Sure.
yeah, not a spreadsheet person. So, that's a good thing to look at. Oh, malpractice. So my malpractice was paid for the year by my previous practice, and it was like all on me. It wasn't. it wasn't their malpractice. But they reached out to me. I think it's, what is it, CFNM, and about an increase because I guess they just, I was going to call them, but I guess they saw the services I was offering. Um, so I just don't know, like, so are they able to see what I'm doing, or like, do I need to call them now, or um
Yeah, they can go to your website and take a look, see what you're doing. You better believe they're going to.
okay, I think they did, and that's why they're
Oh yeah, no, like
increasing the
seriously.
cost. Yeah.
That's the underwriter's job, is to determine
Oh,
the
okay.
risk. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone out there, you're getting malpractice, you're going through payment processors, they're gonna look at your website. They're going to.
Okay.
Part of their
That's
due
definitely what
diligence.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because I thought it was funny. I was like, "Oh, I need to call those guys," and then I ended up, they found out first. So,
Yep.
I'll still just check in with them. I think that's pretty much, I guess, so, and we went over this, but, like, for me, like, I kinda explained where I'm at in my life. Like, I wanna be present when I'm at home with my kids, and that'll be, like, the next 3 years until they're both in, school. And then, like, so I want to keep expanding, but I'm like, that would be the time where I'm like, I can do it full time, so I don't know, the trajectory for me. I'm like, how do I rein this in so I am present with my kids, um but, like, while expanding at the same time with the goal of in 2 to 3 years being full
Right.
time.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Right.
I mean, every entrepreneur is going to uh is going to run into this problem. And I hate to say it, but it's very, very hard to find a good balance between your business and family and friends during the growth stage, because
Hmm.
your business is a child itself. Like, you have to take
Right.
care of it and you have to help it grow and feed it right and that kind of a thing, right?
Hmm.
So it's hard, all right?
Hmm.
Um so it's really up to you, like, do you want
Hmm.
this thing to grow crazy in the next year? Well, if you do, you're going to have to accept the fact that, mommy's going to be doing a lot in her business and it's going to be on her mind a lot.
Right.
So
Right.
it's going to take away time uh
Yeah.
being present. It's just going to be. Now, you want to stay part-time, keep it part-time, just let it kind of do its thing over a couple years, then you do it, you just slowly grow it. You just
Hmm.
put some time in here and there, working on the business versus working in the business, seeing patients.
Hmm.
Um, you have cutoffs. 5 o'clock, I'm done. You go home. You don't
Hmm.
think about anything. No patients can call you. No one can text you, etc. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But if you want it to grow quick, then you're gonna have to accept the fact that 5 o'clock comes around, you go home, you're eating dinner, you're sitting on the couch or whatever, and you're thinking about this business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's what it's been in this kind of startup phase. And but I do, like, I love it. Like, it's really, like, I mean, and I have to tell you, like, when I'm driving around listening to your podcast, I get amped. Like, the like intro part, I'm like, yes, like, you don't have to, like, it's just really awakened this, like, part of me that I kind of lost working in healthcare for as long as I did.
Sure.
And it's, like, I have a creative side, like, I like doing my own thing, like, you know what I mean? So I don't want to, like, and I think my kids will be proud of this. Like, I look at my daughter, I'm like, how cool is it that she's going to grow up and be like, mom has a business, I can do that too.
Oh, 100%.
So I just yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't want to miss the opportunity, but do you think if I took that leap to expansion in 3 years, 2 years, like, that it would be too late?
Mm, no,
It
I
could
don't.
be.
If competition comes around and they work harder than you, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's one of the things you got to worry about with a business, is that
yeah.
if you're not willing to work harder for it, someone
Someone else
else is
will.
going to be at some point.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what destroys a lot of businesses. The business owner becomes complacent and
yeah.
content, and they stop working on the business. And then
Right.
some new kid comes in and dominates them.
That's hungry. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hungry, exactly. Unless you get to the point where you get fuck you money, then it doesn't matter. I don't give two shits about my business. I'm content, whatever. I don't care. I got 10
Yeah.
million in the bank. What else do I need? You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you can get to that point too. And then at that stage, it's really up to you. Like, why work harder? You don't need to, you know?
right,
So
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long-term goal. Yeah, I'll kind of play with it, I think. And I do think so I did sign a year lease at 250 a month because I'm like, hey, if I have to pay that out, that wouldn't hurt too bad. So, I could give it the year at doing part-time and then like be
And then
looking.
yeah, and then just reassess from there. That's what I would do.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate everything. Like I said, the courses were just perfect. I mean, I did take thyroid optimization. I am getting fed those patients. Do you think that's a good adjunct to what I'm doing?
Oh, 100%. I mean, why wouldn't it be? I mean, weight loss and thyroid. I mean, if they're hypothyroid, you better be treating that first.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That's my worry, like we talked about, that I just feel like it could be a little all over the place, but they're all I love the kids. That's what I'm walking through currently. So it's like really easy for me to talk to those parents and patients. Those visits actually don't feel that hard and they go quicker than some of the adult ones. Um, so I think if I focus on weight loss and then I just have these like side things where sure you want to see me, we can do that. Um, I'm hoping that that works for now.
Yeah, I think it will.
Thank you.
I no,
Yeah.
it was a pleasure. Yeah, 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 absolutely. It was a pleasure to help. I'm glad all the courses have helped you out. So I like to end the episode with you asking me a question, personal question, curiosity, that sort of thing.
Yes. Okay. So I have heard that peace is a new profit. That's a quote that I've heard, and I mean, to me, it means like financial peace too. Um, but for you, like when did you hit your peace, or have you?
No, I've reached it. I think, and
Awesome.
that's I think it's a really good line actually. Finding that peace is the true profit, with all your hustle, right? Like, what's your goal here? A lot of
Mhm.
people never ask themselves, what's the goal of me doing this? Like, why are
Right.
you doing it? Like
Mhm.
most people are completely content going to work, getting off, working 4 or 5 days a week, getting their 2 to 3 weeks a year of vacation, having their 401k. Like so many people are just completely content being like a drone,
Yeah.
being this
Yeah.
worker ant. Like most people are content with that. I'm not.
Right.
Like fuck that.
Yeah.
Early in my career, I was like, there is no way I can do this for the next
Yeah.
30 years. There's no way.
No.
I'm gonna lose my mind, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so miserable. This sucks.
Yeah.
Um, there's a reason why so many just doctors, as they start getting into their 50s, are assholes. Like they've been
Yeah.
doing this all their life. They're sick of it, but they're stuck. They can't get out. You know,
Right.
you have golden handcuffs. Like, what are you going to do? You have a $1 million house. You're living way beyond your means. You can't just quit. So
Right.
yeah, so I saw the writing on the wall pretty early in my career, and yeah, so the question I asked was like, what do I want through
Mhm.
all of this work and this hustle and this madness for 3 to 5
Mhm.
years? And yeah,
Mhm.
it's peace, right? It's time. It's having that fu money. It's having that ability to just say, you know what? I'm not going to do anything today. Like
Ooh,
I just
that sounds
woke up.
amazing.
It's so nice. I'm not joking you. There are some days I wake up like Thursday or whatever, like just woke up. I'm like, I really got nothing planned today. I'm not seeing any patients. My practices are working for me. Maybe I'll write an article on Lead NP, record a podcast or something, but like, like,
Justin, that's
ah,
amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's that peace. It's that ability to do whatever the hell I want when I want, you
And you're
know?
young enough to like really enjoy it. Like,
Correct. Yeah. I'm
yeah.
getting ready to turn 40 years old. Like, I'm in really good shape for my age. Like, I feel like I'm in probably like top 5% of men my age, you know?
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, and I can enjoy it. Like last week I went, and walked 9 holes at a local golf course, put my son in a stroller. We just walked 9 holes,
Oh,
you know? It's like
That's awesome.
middle of the day. I'm like, there ain't nothing but a bunch of old retired people playing. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is kind of how it's be to be retired. This is kind of nice, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think that's yeah, to answer your question, that's yeah, I think I found peace for the most part. I mean, I'm still working, but it's on my terms. So I think that's kind of what you want to get to. And if
Yes.
yeah, if you want to get to that, I think you're gonna have to hustle pretty hard for a year or two. If not,
Mhm.
it's gonna just kind of be a part-time business for a while, and then it'll start getting busy. And it's just your growth trajectory is gonna go from potentially 1 to 10x in a
Mhm.
year,
Mhm.
from 1 to maybe 2x or 3x or something, or maybe
Right.
1.5x. So that's going to be a
Yeah.
question you're going to have to sit there and ask yourself on what it is that you want. How quick do you want that piece? So
Yeah. Hustle now for the peace in 3 to 5 years. That could be the answer.
exactly. Exactly. So that's how long it took me. It took me, I started my first business really in 2017, 2018. And it's 2024 now. So, I really didn't find that piece for maybe just about 6 months ago, so, sometime in late 2023. So
Yeah.
it took me 6 years to get there. So just keep that in mind. It's not something that happens in a year.
Yeah. But that's still pretty quick when I look back at the last 5 years. So,
Right. I mean, I'm not even 40 years old. Like, I'm getting ready to
yeah.
turn 40. Like, my
Yeah.
grandfather didn't retire. I thought my grandfather was on top of the world when he retired at 55, you know,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
so happy retiring at 55. Like, him and my grandma drove around the country in an RV and did all this stuff, and he was still young enough to be able to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
he's 90 now, and he's been retired longer than he worked. And
Oh, wow.
he was 55 years old when he retired. And like, I'm I'll probably be like 42, 43 when I just say, screw this, I'm done.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? I'm going to have a long time to be like, what the hell am I going to do with my life?
Yes.
So,
Shoot, I don't know. They're not gonna be able to stop you. I don't know what you're gonna do with all that time because you've done so much, and I really appreciate it.
yeah, no, for sure. It's going to be it's going to be a struggle in itself. So, rich people problems, I guess. Um, but anyways, though, listen, it was a pleasure talking to you. A lot of good stuff here. So yeah, no, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. It means so much to me. I took everything you said to heart, and it was the perfect time to have this conversation. So thank you so much.
All right, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
All
All right,
right. Bye,
thanks.
Justin.
All right, bye. All right, hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Sarah. Sarah is doing very well in just the infancy stages of her practice. Everything can align perfectly during your entrepreneurial journey. Some of it's luck, some of it's being at the right place at the right time, offering the right service, targeting the right demographic, etc. Sarah has dialed this in. She's doing very well. I mean, she's, been open for, a month or two. Like, she's doing very, very well. I suspect that she will grow significantly over the next 6 to 12 months. So it can be done in a short period of time, okay? If you have all those factors in place, right time, right service, little competition, okay? Don't expect that to happen though. It is more of a rarity versus a commonality, okay? So don't expect your practice to succeed so quick, but it can be done. And Sarah is a prime example of that. All right, hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.